Kumar, and today I'm going to walk you through the naming that goes into your daily web browsing experience. So the first thing you do when you want to browse the internet is open a web browser, and in this case I've opened Safari. And the second thing you do is type in a sequence of numbers to go to a website, right? Well, not quite. You really just type in a simple name like IBM.com in this case, and it takes you to the website. Now, what were the sequence of digits that I entered before? Well, they are known as the IP addresses, or IP address in this case, which is assigned to each device participating in a computer network that uses a specific internet protocol for communications over the internet. So how does my device get this IP address? Well, it automatically gets assigned to it by the internet service provider that links this device to the internet. And well, how does the internet service provider gets these numbers? American Registry for Internet Numbers manages and distributes these numbers to the internet service providers. There are two versions of IP addresses, version 4 and version 6. Version 4 was the initial version, whose size was 32 bits, and it was divided into 4 parts, and each part was 8 bits. But later on, when the number of devices connected over the internet increased, the Internet Engineering Task Forces decided to redesign the Internet Protocol itself and came up with version 6, whose size was 128 bits. Alright, so if we don't really need to bother with the digits, what do we really need to bother with? Well, we need to bother with the domain name. I'll talk about domain name in a minute, but first let's talk about URLs. Let's go to Wikipedia in this case, and let's type in internet. Okay. Now let's talk about URL. Well, this is a URL, Uniform Resource Locator, which is used to specify different addresses on the World Wide Web. And World Wide Web is generally just a collection of web servers that hold documents and other web resources. And yeah, so the first part of the URL is the protocol, which is HTTPS in this case, and the protocol is just to access the specific resources on the internet. It can be HTTP for hypertext transfer, FTP for file transfer, or mail-to for mail purposes. Second part here is the host name. Think of host like the landlord, and think of web servers like the apartment complex. So each web server has a host, and the host manages all the resources that a web server will potentially have. So this is the host name, and this is the path. All the URLs are organized in a hierarchical order for the user to pinpoint exactly where they want to go. So I wanted to search the internet in the Wikipedia database, so this is a specific path for this web page that has the information about the internet. And this is why paths in the URLs are useful. Now let's go back to domain names. Domain name in this case is the wikipedia.org, which is really what we bother with. We really just memorize the domain names. We really don't bother with IP addresses or the URL addresses. Domain names are just for us to really remember all the websites and all the resources on the web. Now, you really wouldn't want to learn hundreds and thousands of digits just to remember some websites that might be useful to, right? Just simple names like these are useful and what we're used to. So how does domain name get transferred? Like what's the link between IP addresses and domain names? Well, domain name services is there for us. Think of domain name services like the phone book. Domain name services has each of the domain name and its corresponding IP addresses. So whenever you plug in the domain name, it retrieves the IP address. It then communicates through the machines through the IP address, and then gives you back the page that you wanted. So this is really convenient for us because we really would rather learn or memorize the names than memorize a sequence of digits. Yeah, so, and we really don't bother with IP addresses or typing in full URLs because this is really convenient for us, which are domain names in this case. Thank you so much, and I'll leave it at that.